Hi, this is Fred Tatasciore, the voice of Soldier 76, and you're listening to the Nerd Entertainment Hub podcast. Respect the chef.
Today on the Nerd Entertainment Hub podcast, PlayStation software updates, Tom Holland being a hero, New York Comic Con news, and some Scorsese smack talk.
Zero to hero.
All right, hi. You know what? You caught me off guard. I had a nice little cadence going, and then you just kind of barged right in.
Came out of left field. That's my specialty, Ryan.
That's what you do. So, yeah, welcome to the Nerd Entertainment Hub podcast. I'm your host, Ryan. As you also heard, joining me is Josh. Hello, Josh.
Ryan, how are you? I'm
still off kilter from that interruption.
I love doing that to you, and I shouldn't say that, but I do love interrupting you, especially how you got raged.
Oh, yeah.
Last episode.
No, yeah.
You edited that part out, but I just found it really
edited
funny.
It out because it sounded a little too...
come on.
No,
keep the rage.
It got legitimately angry, and I didn't want to put that out there.
But that's what you first...
Also, you were talking so quietly that we weren't able to pick up you defending yourself.
Oh, that's true.
So it was really just me going full...
dick mode?
What's his name? Fucking Batman. Christian Bale. It was me going full Christian Bale on you.
Yeah, but you didn't go, brr. You didn't do that.
I did that. You know I did that. You saw me doing that.
It sounded more like a goose.
Sounds like a lot of...
There we go.
Okay. So, all that I already talked about before happening in the show, but first, the quick story at the top. So, John Kirby, a former lawyer for Nintendo and the namesake for the pink puffball we all love, passed away earlier this week at 79. Not only was he the namesake for Kirby, his actual big claim to fame was he defended Nintendo back in the 80s when they were sued by Universal because they had their character Donkey Kong. And Universal was suing, saying, that's a little close to King Kong. You're infringing on our copyright. We're suing you. And thanks to the assistance of Jack Kirby, they won.
This is in the 80s?
This was in the 80s. This is when Donkey Kong first came out in arcades.
Huh. I did not know about this news story.
Yep. And of
course, at that time, too, Universal is still one of the biggest studios out there, so they're going to stroke their dicks and try to get any kind of money they can.
Yeah, but I mean, also a giant monkey that climbs building scaffolding, carrying a woman, Kong.
Yeah, but I mean, like...
The argument was there. The argument was there, but thanks to John Kirby, Nintendo won, and Donkey Kong was able to stay Donkey Kong.
Thank God.
In another story I read, I think they gave him Nintendo, as a thank you, gave him a boat called Donkey Kong.
That's... what?
Well, when you're
I want a boat called Donkey Kong.
Well, then become a lawyer for Nintendo and help them win a
boat?
But anyway, that was just something I saw, the namesake for Kirby, but also... Because I had heard about this lawsuit before.
Yeah.
But I didn't know a whole lot about it. So to hear a little bit more about it, especially about the guy who helped Nintendo win that lawsuit. So that was interesting. But, rest in peace, John Kirby. Thoughts go out to him and his family. I don't know. It's just interesting.
It's also sad.
It is.
Sad, too.
Of course it's sad. It's always sad when... Well, it's not always.
You just said interesting. You didn't say sad.
Most of the time it is sad. It's interesting that, his name is he is the namesake for Kirby. That whole Universal lawsuit. Yeah, no, it is sad that he died. It's almost always sad when someone dies.
Most of the time.
Exactly.
Most of the time.
Leave a little room for error.
Yeah.
There's always got to be a Hitler somewhere.
I wasn't going to go that far, but I guess you're right.
So, moving on to the next story, and this is something I'm kind of excited about because I'm this much of a nerd. Sony is releasing the next software update for the PlayStation 4. This is update 7.00.
Ooh, a big one.
The two biggest things coming to it, the number of people you can have in a party has gone up from 8 to 16.
How come it never was 16 in the first place? That doesn't make any sense.
I don't know.
On the Xbox 360, you could have up to 16 people. I don't think anyone, I've never done that. The maximum I've ever had is maybe 6 or 7. But, I don't know. you think that's not a hard, kind of feat to have, or it's not that hard to do programming wise.
So was crossplay, but you saw how much they dug their heels in the ground for that.
Well, that's a fair point. That's a fair point. But also, isn't Sony allowing crossplay now?
Yeah, no, they're starting to let crossplay come, fully into the Sony fold because they've realized they've lost this fight.
Yeah, they have. If you have Microsoft, Nintendo, and I mean, those two powerhouses alone should have been like, whoa, dude. Whoa.
Just slapping them around, like just slapping Sony around like, what are you doing, you little fucking idiot?
What are you fucking doing, man? This is for the good of gaming, and I understand that, everyone's trying to suck every single dollar out of us. But, gamers unite, man. Gamers have united quite a bit over the last couple of years.
Yep.
I'm really glad we united over this.
They've made some serious changes. A lot of it for the good. Not all of it, but a lot of it for the good. The other big thing coming for this update is Remote Play is finally coming to all Android devices and not just Sony Xperia phones.
Who the fuck has an Xperia phone?
Exactly. And so when I made the switch, most recently I went from...
A Nintendo Switch?
When I my most recent...
Sorry, that deserved that.
My most recent phone upgrade, I actually jumped from Apple to Android.
Traitor.
I left my iPhone 6S and I got a OnePlus 7 Pro.
Not a bad phone.
I fucking love this thing. This thing is great. And I was excited to have something, with some good power to it, a nice size screen, and maybe I'll see what I can do about Remote Play. Then when I tried to download the Remote Play app about a month ago, your phone's not able to use this app. Like, well, what the fuck? And then I learned,
How are you able to download it in the first place?
No, you can't. But once this firmware update goes live or the software update goes live, I should be able to access it. And you should also be able to use your DualShock 4 on the Remote Play app on your Android phone.
So here's a couple of questions I have about this.
Okay.
I've never tried it for the iOS because I have an iPhone, but
it's very recent.
It. I bet but what it has to have a lot of technical limitations. First of all, you have to have the bandwidth and internet speed enabled to cooperate with with all of this shit.
So I
Not
was
cooperate, but you know what I mean. The technical limitations.
I was looking into this a little bit in anticipation for this.
Yeah.
Your PlayStation 4 has to be connected to LAN.
Which totally makes sense.
Wi-Fi does not give it the oomph needed to get it done.
Of course it's not. Unless you have a gigabit of data.
For a while now.
Or gigabit speed, sorry.
Up until recently, you couldn't even do it on data. You had to be on Wi-Fi in order to Remote Play. They're getting rid of that restriction.
Of course, because the ISPs want more money.
And you need about 25 megabytes per second down. 25 megabits per second down in order to use
Which is, I mean, that's kind of...
That's not terrible.
No, but it's also... So a lot of the ISPs, obviously 25 is probably one of the lower tiers now. It used to be up there,
My current internet is 250 down.
Up to 250 down.
Yeah, sorry. Up to
they always
250
say.
down.
Sorry. I have up to 250 as well, but when I was talking to Comcast and they're like, up to 250, and I'm like, of course, that probably generally means between 20 and 100. 250 if it's 3 in the morning.
I tested it, LAN connection to my PlayStation for, I think it was at 5 p.m. on a Sunday. I got 248. But Wi-Fi, on my PlayStation, I'm getting 30 to 50.
Yeah, I mean, that's average. So, I mean, right now, when I play on my PlayStation, I play with a straight-up Ethernet connection.
Yeah,
I'm not dealing with
no.
wireless shit unless I absolutely have to. I'm plugged right into my router. So, yeah.
I will say, I've used the Remote Play on my laptop, and it's been great.
Really? Is there any latency issues?
There's a little bit of latency, but I don't play the games where that really matters.
Oh, that's true, too. You don't play online games.
I don't play the online,
that.
quick reaction shooters.
It's not like you're playing Overwatch or anything
I'm not playing Overwatch. I played a little bit of Dragon's Dogma.
Well, Dragon's Dogma requires a little bit of moving around, right?
Not terribly. I mean, and the latency that I get from that, it's not enough to make a difference. Like if I'm even like maybe half a second off dodging out of the way of an attack, I'm still going to dodge the attack. So it doesn't need to be lightning quick reflexes. The biggest problem is the max I can get for video output. You can get max 720p.
I'm surprised it's 720, to be honest.
It's a rough looking 720.
I was about to say, I mean,
my laptop's nowhere near top line, but it at least does 1080.
Right.
So to have it in 720, it looks a little but
well, I mean, you just got to think of it this way. 720 is, I think, oh my God, I can't remember the math. I think it's like 4 720 screens that should make up a 1080 screen.
Yeah.
2 of them,
something
3
like
of them. Yeah, you know what I mean.
I
should know this, but I don't.
Like, I think it's like an $80 Polaroid TV that I got on Black Friday, like a decade ago, is 720. But with this actually, and not to talk big about my phone, but
you're stroking your dick about your phone. You've been stroking your dick about it since you got it.
I love this thing. Fucking 90 hertz screen refresh rate. Just beautiful screen resolution. The camera's great. It runs nice and quick.
I'm pretty sure the table just went up 3 inches.
Shut up. But I'm excited to finally try this with the remote play. So I'm super amped for this. So when it goes like I've already been shopping for DualShock 4 mounts, so I can just clip the mount onto my controller and just have this on there, so I can play it like
on the pooper.
Well, I was going to say in bed.
No, in the pooper.
But also the pooper.
I was about to say, come on. 90% of the time we're going to be playing this is on the pooper.
Here's my main concern. I tried syncing my DualShock 4 to
the Bluetooth of your phone.
And it connected, but there was no response from any of the buttons.
I'm not surprised.
So I'm incredibly nervous that this will all go live, but I can't use my DualShock 4 on
There's going to be a tutorial, I guarantee you, with your specific phone or Android of how to make it work.
I can do it, but I need to root my phone, which I don't want to do because that's it's not as involved as jailbreaking an iPhone, but it's essentially the equivalent.
Right.
And there's a possibility that you could brick it. And I'm not bricking this.
You could try it on your old iPhone.
That's different though. That's jailbreaking an
do it. See if it works.
I might. I mean, that thing has no use other than being a
paperweight.
It's a paperweight because the battery lasts maybe an hour. The battery's fucked on it.
Oh yeah,
that's why. That's the main reason I got rid of it.
iPhone 6. I know the battery's stupid.
The most recent, the latest update that I got on it from iOS just fucked my battery hard.
Oh yeah, they do that. They still do it.
It's forced obsolescence. That's exactly what they do.
Yep.
But PlayStation update, it's coming this week. Look out for it. If you want to have a 16-person party, great. I'm going to be playing some MLB The Show on the toilet. Josh.
I was gonna make a diaper joke, but I'm not gonna do that.
It's a grand slam into the bowl.
What? No, I'm gonna call it a diaper shot into the toilet.
That's basketball.
I know. Oh no. Oh yeah.
Nice try. Thank you for playing.
Hey Josh. Strike out.
Hey, Josh.
3 strikes and I'm out. There you go. Baseball reference.
Hey, Josh.
I'm a sports guy.
Is Tom Holland a real life superhero for saving this Disney Marvel deal?
No, it is a fucking stupid PR move by Disney. It grinds my gears. Here.
Sounds like a lot of...
That deserves that. I am not surprised because, Tom Holland is, how old is Tom Holland? Like, what, his early 20s? Maybe, if that. So, and he's a young, naive boy. So, he probably called up Disney and Sony like, hey guys, I really still want to play Spider-Man and I still really want to be the MCU. And,
he is 23.
23? Oh, okay. Still a little, he's almost a naive boy. Almost evolved from a young, naive boy. So you think that, Tom Holland has pull from billionaires that are at the topic, not billionaires, but definitely millionaires who have sit at the top,
Who control
of the executive
billion-dollar
chairs.
companies.
Yeah, exactly. Bob Iger and the president of Sony Entertainment. I don't remember his name off the top of my head, but you think they're gonna give a shit what Tom Holland says? Okay, sorry. They will pretend to care. They don't give a shit about us. But of course, Tom Holland is helping them make billions of dollars. So they will probably listen to him. But, Tom Holland did not save the MCU deal between Disney and Sony. I'm sorry. It was not. Disney is trying to spin this as a PR move to, better themselves. And I'm not mad at them for doing it, but if they think that the slightly above average consumer like us will actually think that Tom Holland saved the MCU deal, bullshit. So you think it was super convenient that this story leaked out, and then Bob Iger was on Jimmy Kimmel the next night or the night after to explain the sob story that Tom Holland saved this? Stroke my dick and call me Sally. That did not fucking happen.
I love it when you get angry because the words don't form in your head before you say them.
Don't.
Stroke my dick and call me Sally. I love it. I absolutely love it, and I am using that.
It angers me so fucking much.
It was all a work, and everyone who fell for it, they were the marks. They absolutely were.
Of course, and there's tons of people that fell for it.
This was the plan from the get-go.
Oh, absolutely.
Because, of course, and here's something that, that should be said. While Bob Iger was on Jimmy Kimmel talking about this, you know what he made sure to do? He made sure to plug Pixar's next film, Onward.
And you know why he was on Jimmy Kimmel? Because his book came out a couple of weeks ago and it's on his book tour.
Yeah, this is all just so perfectly pieced together.
In giant fucking air quotes.
No, actually pieced together because they planned this from the get-go. That's what I meant about pieced together. It was a real big coincidence.
Sorry,
big air quotes in proper use.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. That's what I meant.
But no, I mean, look, it's either one of two things. It's either this all actually happened the way we're told it happened, that there was a split.
Nope.
Let me finish. Sorry. There was a split between Marvel and Sony, and between fan reaction and Tom Holland personally calling Bob Iger and expressing, hey, this is something that we still really want to see continue. And maybe that did happen. Maybe it did. And you know what? It'd be nice if that was the actual truth. But at this point, you and me both, and a lot of people are too cynical to believe that.
Oh, absolutely.
And I've watched too much wrestling to believe that.
So I don't think that the whole stunt was a PR move. Like when the first initial news came out of Tom Holland being the split.
Yeah,
I think that was. That's been come out and been proven by a lot of Hollywood reporters that it was Disney trying to take too much creative control away from Sony. Mm-hmm. Sony paid for the majority of the movie and took 95% of the box office sales. And again, I'm paraphrasing what in the numbers and like what's going on. But of course, Disney wanted more creative control. Disney wanted more box office sales, just so they can make more money than Sony. And Sony's like, no, fuck you.
Like, Sony's like, we know how much money we can make on Spider-Man.
Yeah. And
we're holding the chips here.
Oh, absolutely. And Sony, for a long time, they were hurting with Spider-Man movies.
I say this phrase a lot. They were doing Spider-Man dirty.
They were. So since Spider-Man 2, in my opinion, with Tobey Maguire, because that movie's awesome.
Yeah.
Every single Spider-Man movie since then, except starting with Into the Spider-Verse, was Even the Amazing Spider-Man, the first one with Andrew Garfield, that one was okay. It wasn't bad. Amazing Spider-Man 2 was it was hard garbage. Very hard garbage. And then you had Into the Spider-Verse, which was a huge success.
Before that was Homecoming.
No, sorry. I'm talking about just Sony production movies.
Oh, I see.
Just Sony produced Spider-Man movies,
yes.
not MCU.
Oh my God. I rewatched Into the Spider-Verse over the weekend.
It's so good.
It is so good. I love it.
So Into the Spider-Verse is just Sony. That does not involve Disney at all.
Yes. Okay.
So,
then yes, absolutely.
Yeah. So you had Into the Spider-Verse being a huge box office success.
And a critical success.
Yes.
It won the
absolutely
Oscar for
well-deserved.
Best Animated Feature.
Well deserved.
Well deserved.
And then you also had another box office success with Venom and Tom Hardy. I didn't see it, but I heard it made a lot of money in the box office, so that's considered a success.
It made money in the box office, and it got mid to good reviews.
Yes.
It wasn't like a 99% certified fresh on Rotten Tomatoes.
No, definitely not.
But it made the money to warrant a sequel.
Exactly.
And that's what they're doing.
Yes. So, and of course, Tom Hardy's coming back. And guess who's directing Venom 2?
Andy Serkis.
Yeah.
And I'm excited.
Yeah.
I
of
love
course.
Andy
So
Serkis.
Sony is going in the right direction on their own with their own, kind of version of the Spider-Verse.
Here's the way I perceive it. Marvel does not need Spider-Man. But Spider-Man's existence in the MCU, especially the current iteration portrayed by Tom Holland, does them a world of good.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
And so because of that, it is mutually beneficial for them to try to cooperate and work together to make something good.
Yes.
But Sony has all the power with the exclusive movie rights to Spider-Man and all Spider-Man related characters and properties. They have that shit locked up tight. And for a while, with The Amazing Spider-Man 1 and 2, there was a lot of talk like, is Sony going to let this,
Are they going to sell it to Disney?
Are they going to sell it? Are they going to give up on it? But they didn't. And because of that, we had their collaboration with Marvel to give us a fantastic Spider-Man in Tom Holland, and it gave us the beautiful, amazing Into the Spider-Verse.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. So, let's get something straight too. The new deal is a short-term deal. I
think it's just one movie.
No, it's the Spider-Man, the sequel to the second movie, Far From Home. So you're gonna have this full third movie with Spider-Man as the main person, and then another appearance in another Marvel movie. I'm assuming that's probably gonna be another Avengers movie. It would make sense. So those are the only two appearances that he has under contract with the MCU and Disney.
Now here's the thing.
Yeah.
Now we're in the next phase. Are we trying to build up to another Avengers movie the same way that Phase 1 led to Avengers?
I don't think so.
Phase 2 led to Infinity War?
Well, I mean,
or are we? Oh no, sorry. Phase 1 was Avengers. Phase 2 was Rise of Ultron.
Yep.
Phase 3 was Infinity War.
Phase 3 was Civil War.
Civil War was a Captain America movie.
Yeah, but that marked the end of Phase 3.
So Phase 4 was?
Phase 4 was Infinity War and
Okay.
Endgame and stuff.
All right.
Phase 5 is the new one.
Okay. So, but that's the thing. With Robert Downey Jr. gone, with Chris Pine gone.
You mean Chris Evans?
Sorry, Chris Evans. With a bunch of
Scarlett Johansson.
I thought she was in Black Widow. There's a Black Widow movie coming out.
The Black Widow, but besides that,
without a couple of tentpole Avengers characters,
yep.
I don't think at least currently, they can even think about ending this phase with an Avengers movie. So what I think is most likely going to happen is they're going to work Spider-Man played by Tom Holland, because also by the time they have an Avengers movie, it's very possible that Tom Holland will not be Spider-Man anymore. And right now, 90% of the reason why
he's under contract, so maybe
he's under contract for. I mean, I'm sure there's
in an appearance in a Marvel movie.
But if let's say it takes 5 years for another Avengers movie, and that's what they're waiting on, he's going to be 28 by then.
Oh, and he'll still play Spider-Man.
I mean, they could work it that way, but they want to strike while the iron's hot. So I think what's most likely is going to happen is they're going to shoehorn him into another
Marvel movie.
And I think he would do great in Doctor Strange, because I loved the rapport he and Doctor Strange had for just the short bit of time that they were involved.
That's very true. So I just looked it up. It's going to be PG-13.
Yeah.
So I take that back about what I said about rated R. So, I mean, but it's going to be a horror movie, regardless.
So, I mean, again, that's kind of just me because I really like Tom Holland as Spider-Man and I also love Doctor Strange. So, I would just want to see them together.
And you are right, though. Like, the repertoire that they had in Infinity War was awesome.
Yeah. Even just for a brief moment, it was still great.
Exactly.
So, and I think Tom Holland's naivete and his, squeaky clean good boy kind of thing could play off really well with just the know-it-all pompous attitude that Benedict Cumberbatch brings to Doctor Strange, because because one of my favorite moments of Thor Ragnarok was like the 5-minute bit with Doctor Strange.
yeah.
Because he's just fucking teleporting Thor all over the place, just continuing the conversation. Thor's like just getting jostled and thrown around. Like, I love that shit. Like, someone who has so much power in manipulating reality and space and time that they can just freely throw you around while they just do their own thing and you just gotta keep up. I love that shit.
I did like that too. I really enjoyed that scene. Also, too, you can have that repertoire in a Avengers movie, not just a Doctor Strange movie.
Yeah. No. I get that, but the problem, I think it's really just long term.
Oh yeah.
When are we actually going to see an Avengers movie?
We don't know what's going to happen long term, as far as an Avengers movie and as far as this deal with Sony. Because right now, this is only, I say, maybe a 3 or 4 year deal at the most.
Likely.
At the most likely. Because 2021 is when the next Spider-Man movie comes out. So maybe after that, maybe an additional 2 years after. Well, maybe that makes it 5.
What if instead of cashing it in for a movie, they use him in a what if? No,
No.
I think Tom Holland.
I don't think that would count though.
I think.
Well, it would.
I think Tom Holland in a what if would be a perfect way to drive people over to Disney Plus.
Maybe. I mean, because they are using all the real actors for the Disney Plus series too.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Maybe if he might show up in Winter Soldier and the Falcon.
That'd be cool. Or Loki.
Well, ooh.
I think it'd be great in Loki.
That'd be cool in Loki.
All right.
Tom Hiddleston and him. Oh my god.
All right. We can marvel out, the rest of the night, but let's move on.
Yeah.
You wanted to talk about a couple of quick things from Rhode Island Comic Con.
Rhode Island? You mean New York Comic Con?
New York Comic Con.
We're going to Rhode Island Comic Con in a few weeks.
Well, you are. I
yeah,
can't.
yeah,
I have a wedding, unfortunately.
Yeah, you knew about your wedding. You knew about it for a fucking year and you forgot about it.
I don't pay attention to this shit. You leave me alone.
I'm just kidding.
I'm super upset because I can't go see the Needless to Say guys again. Because I would. Honestly, that's like 50% of why I was going, just to meet back up with them, because they were so much fun to hang out with.
Yeah.
I was just listening to their show on the way over here to record.
Very nice. So a lot of new books are coming out that got announced at
Boo, nerd books.
I know. I'm going to listen to them on audiobooks anyway, so I don't actually read them. You expect me to read books?
Boo, half nerd.
Yeah.
Get your entertainment from YouTube like me.
Oh, what a bitch.
So these are Star Wars books?
Yes, they are Star Wars books. And one of my favorite authors is actually coming back to write another Star Wars book, Claudia Gray.
The Adventures of Salacious Crumb.
Oh my god. Fuck off.
It's just 30 pages of yeah.
Oh my god. That'd just be really funny. So Claudia Gray is coming back. Timothy Zahn is confirmed that he's coming up with a new Thrawn series. This is called the Ascendancy Trilogy. So I'm really curious to see where it's going to go. I haven't read any of the new Thrawn books. I really need to, because Timothy Zahn is awesome and I love him as an author. So I really need to check out the new Thrawn books. And Claudia Gray, she can do no wrong in my eyes with writing Star Wars books. She wrote Lost Stars and then the Leia book. I haven't finished the Leia book, but right now, oh my god, it's super good. Super good.
So are all of these canon or are these still non-canon?
No, they're all canon.
So all the books that existed before Disney bought them, those are all non-canon.
Yes.
But any new books that have come out subsequently are canon.
Any new media that comes out is considered canon.
Okay.
Yeah, unless it specifically says non-canon.
Has there been anything that come out that has been non-canon?
Nope.
Okay.
Not that I can think of. Even when, actually, I think even in the old EU, when Force Unleashed came out, I don't think that was considered canon. I think the game developers said this is strictly non-canon.
I know for a fact Force Unleashed was not canon.
Yeah. It was just a cool Star Wars story.
Which is fine, because sometimes non-canon is great.
Oh, yeah.
Shadow of Mordor.
Yeah. So that was a quick announcement for Star Wars, and I'm actually really excited about that. So, and also a new trailer for a new Star Trek series is coming out.
Yeah, it's the Picard series.
Yeah, starring Patrick Stewart.
Yeah, which is really exciting.
Which is awesome.
Here's my problem. I know that if I start watching Star Trek The Next Generation, I'm going to get hooked.
Do it. Do a podcast about it. Do reviews about it. Do it.
I probably will at some point. I mean, this will be my next Lord of the Rings. I'm gonna take like a week off of work, and I'm just gonna end up watching it, and I'm gonna love the whole fucking thing.
And then we can nerd out about, oh, what's better, Star Wars or Star Trek?
You coming from a side point of watching all the Star Wars, haven't seen a single Star Trek, and I'll come from the perspective of having seen Star Trek: The Next Generation and seen not a single Star Wars, and I'll still contend that the Orville is the best.
See, I've actually watched some Star Trek though.
Oh, you have?
Yeah. So I've watched the movies.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, so I saw the first one with Zachary Quinto and Chris Pine.
Oh, yeah, the one directed by JJ.
Yes, JJ.
Yep. And then JJ directed the second one, which was The Wrath of Khan. And then I just love it though. He lied so many times in saying that Benedict Cumberbatch is not Khan. What is he in the movie? He's Khan. And watching this trailer, it looks really cool. Like, it looks really cinematic, of course. And this is going to be on CBS All Access.
Just to stop you there, the second Star Trek movie was Into Darkness.
Into Darkness.
The Wrath of Khan was
another movie.
That was the second Star Trek movie with William Shatner.
Right.
That's the one where Spock died.
Right. Spoilers.
I mean, Khan was still the bad guy in that one because it was called The Wrath of Khan.
Right.
But yeah, no, I see. Yeah.
Into Darkness, you are correct. You absolutely are correct. And that had the really stupid, weird scene between Spock and that's stupid, but I thought it was weird. Not weird, just unnecessarily just odd. When Chris Pine is like in the nuclear reactor, and you don't remember this? I didn't see
Into Darkness.
Oh, okay.
I only saw the first one.
Okay, then I'm describing something you haven't seen yet, so there's no point.
Was the first one the one where Zachary Quinto met face to face with Leonard Nimoy and both were Spock? Yes, then that's the one I saw.
Yeah, that's the first one.
Rip Leonard Nimoy.
So yeah, this trailer actually looks pretty good. I mean, yeah, that's all I gotta say about it.
Is that on CBS's service?
Yeah, CBS All Access.
Because of course everything needs their own.
Of course,
streaming service
of course, yeah.
So, anything else from New York Comic-Con? Okay, so moving on to the main topic of the night. I say main topic. I'm not sure we're going to spend too long on it, but this is probably the thing that you and I can both talk about most at a good level of experience. Martin Scorsese. So recently he was asked about superhero movies and things like that. So let me actually read the full quote that he said. This is from an interview with Empire Magazine. He said, quote, "I don't see them. I tried, but that's not cinema. Honestly, the closest I can think of them, as well made as they are, with actors doing the best they can under the circumstances, is theme parks. It isn't the cinema of human beings trying to convey emotional, psychological experiences to another human being." End quote. So that's what Scorsese had to say about Marvel movies. And I don't want to say people have had their opinions about his comments. And I feel like if anyone can speak with a level of authority about film and cinema, Martin Scorsese certainly one of them.
He's a god among film.
Like so many of his movies are in my top 10 favorite movies. Goodfellas, Gangs of New York. It's on my top 10, but I loved Shutter Island. I love The Departed. I'm so fucking excited for The Irishman.
Oh, I'm super excited for The Irishman.
Casino, Raging Bull, Taxi Driver. And I'll say it one more time because I love it so much. Gangs of New York.
Gangs of New York is such a good movie.
I love that movie so much. So now that we've gushed about him and his filmmaking capabilities, let's tell him why he's wrong. Because if anyone can tell Martin fucking Scorsese why he's wrong, it's us.
Yeah. Some people he would never ever care about to hear from.
Here's just my argument. People like theme parks. I like theme parks. I'm not going to say going to the theme park is the same as going to the opera. and I know you have definitive moments that outright prove him wrong, because you came to this prepared and you said, hey, I want to talk about Martin Scorsese's comments, and I'm like, okay, that's fine. So I know you have proper responses to like his, specifically it's his argument about it not being a human being conveying their experiences with another human being. I know you have.
Yeah, so
go for it.
Let's kind of break down his quote though. So let's start with the first couple of sentences. So I don't see them. I tried, but that's not cinema. I don't see them. It's two contradictory sentences right at the same time.
Okay. Well, no,
I don't see them. I tried, So, okay, did you see which one did you see? Did you see Thor: The Dark World? I'm sorry. That movie is shit. For a comic book movie and a regular movie.
Did you see the first Incredible Hulk with Ed Norton?
That one wasn't bad.
No, I never saw it.
No, it wasn't bad.
Ed Norton and Tim Roth are both in it, which kind of I'd be interested in seeing.
Yeah, but did you see Iron Man 2? Did you see Iron Man 3? Did you see Captain America, the first one? People say it's good. I don't think it's good. So, I get it. He has his own incredible vision
filmography.
Of film.
Yeah.
Yes. So, again, what you just said though is a perfect example. People like theme parks.
Honestly, the closest I can think of them, as well made as they are, with actors doing the best they can under the circumstances, is theme parks.
Which, going along with what you said,
people like theme parks.
People like theme parks.
I mean, yeah, no, it's not the same as going to see like a Broadway musical or a play or the opera.
And it's not the same as going to see The Irishman. It's not going to see the other Hollywood movies that are produced all in the same year that these movies come out.
Yeah.
So, like, again, people they didn't have these expectations at first, but now 20 plus movies in, we know their format and they're going to keep evolving that format, of course. But we go in with the expectation, this is a superhero movie. We're going to be entertained in a different way than what we go to see the Revenant and all these other kind of those movies.
And you know what? The other thing about these movies is they've improved so much.
Yes,
like,
I agree.
We've come from what happens to a toad when it gets struck by lightning, the same thing as everything else.
Right.
Which has been universally lampooned and ridiculed. Fun fact, that line was written by David Hayter, the voice of Solid Snake. That's just a fun little thing I can pull out of my pocket.
There you go. And also, The Revenant 2 wasn't directed by Martin
No, that
Scorsese,
was
but it's an Oscar-winning film.
Yeah, exactly. With Leo DiCaprio.
Yep.
It's in the same echelon. They bump shoulders.
Yeah.
Scorsese's films and The Revenant, they bump shoulders.
Yeah.
We've gone from that X-Men line to where we are now with moments where Tony Stark died, when Tom Holland got snapped away, when Peter Parker got snapped away. Those were seriously moving moments that I know brought people to tears. And so that
I cried like a bitch.
That is serious emotional weight being put into something like this. To say it's not cinema, I don't want to sound like a dick because it's Martin Scorsese, but fucking what, old man?
But also,
this isn't cinema? No. Come on, dude. You know who calls it cinema? Assholes who think they're better because they call it cinema. But fuck off, you're going to see a movie. But also, let's go back to calling them talkies, for fuck's sake. I went to the soda fountain and got a malt, and then I went and saw a talkie starring that Buster Keaton. Buster Keaton wasn't a talkie star, but you know what I mean.
I know what you mean. And also, too, you got to think of it this way, too. All film is subjective.
Absolutely.
So this is all subjective in his own mind. And, he's a god of film. Don't get me wrong.
He has the authority to talk like this. He has the
authority to talk like this. But, a lot of scrutiny behind it, when people just read this, he's like, oh, Martin Scorsese insulted the MCU. Oh, my God. Big headlines. Blah, 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 blah. And I understand clickbait and all that stuff.
Yeah, that's another thing. They say he's thrashing it. He said, no, he says they're well made.
Yeah.
That was absolutely one of the things he said.
He complimented them.
He complimented them. He understands that they are well-made films, but they're, in his perspective, not to assume meaning to what he's saying, but I think this is what he meant. It's not on the same level as stuff that he makes.
I know what you mean. I know
these upper echelon
Oscar movies.
Films, these Oscar movies.
Yeah.
But you know what else won Oscars? Lord of the Rings.
Black Panther.
won Oscars.
Yep.
Like, you know what?
Star Wars won Oscars.
You know what cleaned up in the practical effects and design and lighting and costuming? You know what cleaned house one year in the Oscars? Mad Max Fury Road.
Well deserved.
That movie
Well deserved.
cleaned fucking house. And that movie is in my top 5 along with Gangs of New York.
Yep.
Like it, and ultimately we are debating what is one of the most subjective things you can have, a taste in movies.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
'Cause
But it's always a good discussion.
And you know what? It is always a good discussion. And me saying that is more just me being like, oh, I'm trying not to bug too many people. Fuck that. I don't care anymore.
Thank God.
This is the official moment where I've stopped giving a fuck. Because it really is subjective. Because a lot of people love? Wes Anderson movies.
Yep.
I think they're so fucking pretentious and awful. I got about an hour into the Royal Tenenbaums and I gave up. I thought, are we almost done with this? No?
That movie's okay though.
There's another hour? Oh my God, it's...
You know what's a better one? Grand Budapest Hotel.
It's Wes Anderson. I'm not going to watch it. I've given...
It's a good movie.
His art style
really good movie.
looks like the 20s fucked the 30s while on LSD from the 70s and shat out the 50s. That's his aesthetic. It's one thing to be anachronistic so it can kind of fit wherever. It's another thing to just be a fucking crazy mishmash.
See, this is why we need Tony and to be the apologist of the group. But
yeah, I mean, now we're just getting all kinds of sidetracked because now we're just talking about movies.
Yeah,
but.
well, not only that too. So going back to his quote, the last part. It isn't cinema of human beings trying to convey emotional and psychological experiences to other human beings. So I want to count 2 or 3 superhero movies to me that kind of went above the echelon of quote unquote superhero movies. They crossed the verge of actually being amazing Oscar winning movies.
Do it.
One of them being The Dark Knight.
Yes.
Heath Ledger, like that is Batman. We know that. But that legendary performance is hugely legendary in Hollywood now.
After putting my foot in my mouth like a complete and utter tool on the last podcast, I went back and rewatched The Dark Knight, and I retracted.
Wait, what did you say about The Dark Knight?
When I was saying, the only reason Heath Ledger won the Oscar was because he had died, and I made
You said that last episode?
That was the comparison I was trying to make with Game of Thrones winning for Best Drama. It was the last season. It was going out. They wanted to give it the final send-off.
I must have blacked out when you said that because I would have argued that hardcore.
That's when you, Tony, and Matt all jumped down my throat.
Oh, good. Well deserved. I don't
you
remember
really
this.
blacked out during that.
I guess
that was like a good 5 minutes of our Emmy talk about me putting my foot in my mouth about Heath Ledger. But anyway,
I don't remember. Continue, sorry.
After that happened, I rewatched The Dark Knight, and Heath Ledger, just fucking
legendary performance, man.
Legendary performance. So yes, that's a perfect example of just that. Yeah.
Another one, Logan. Did you ever see Logan?
I did not. That was the last Hugh Jackman one, right?
Correct.
I did not see that.
It was so well done. If you took the superhero part out of the movie and just had them have abilities, its own entity is such a good fucking movie. It is written as a Western and as a pure Western at heart. And I never been a big fan of Western-ish movies.
I'm okay with them.
But, oh my God, it was so well done. Hugh Jackman's performance of Logan in that entire movie was just spot on and amazing. I could not pick one bad part about that movie.
All right.
Like maybe one pacing issue, but that's like literally splitting a hair in half of a half.
So yeah. I mean, you got any others or?
No. So those are the top 2 I just wanted to say. And I only wanted to name those 2 movies because those are like perfect examples of proving this quote to be wrong. And one quick thing I wanted to add too, James Gunn actually tweeted in response to this. Martin Scorsese is one of my 5 favorite living filmmakers. I was outraged when people picketed The Last Temptation of Christ without having seen the film. I'm saddened that he's not now judging my films in the same way.
Ooh. Throwing a little bit of heat.
A little bit of heat.
little bit of heat.
But also, James Gunn is James Gunn.
Yeah.
So, there's so many things you could say about this quote. Like, I just wanted to touch upon it because it bothered me that people were obviously reading the headlines like I always do and not reading more into it, which I don't do.
And I'll admit, before you sent me this article and before I read it and before I read the quote, I was going off headline. So I thought it was just him kind of being like an old man.
I thought too.
Kind of like...
I mean, he kind of is. He's not wrong in what your assumption about that.
I mean, and also I kind of blame myself a bit because I figured Martin Scorsese would have the right level of nuance to take on this. Ultimately, I don't agree with his opinion, but I didn't give him enough credit to have something so well put.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, he says they are well-made films. And while there are certainly questions about writing, about ways certain scenes were shot, ways certain scenes were done. On the whole, these movies are fantastic. One of the best moments I've ever had in a movie theater was just recently when I went to see Endgame. Thanos was beating on Thor. He had knocked Stormbreaker out of the way, and he was just punching Thor right in the face, and Mjolnir's off to the side, and we see Mjolnir slowly lift as someone picks it up. And I was seeing this with my friend Kyle, and I just immediately I did the same exact thing to you during the Elder Scrolls reveal at E3 that one year.
You did.
I just did. Oh shit, and I was bouncing out my seat, and there's Captain America holding Mjolnir. It's like, motherfucker, that's probably something that they had set up from day fucking one.
Oh yeah, you
know
that
moment when Captain America picks up Mjolnir to save Thor. Like, oh, that was just cool moment.
I've never heard a theater cheer so loud in my entire life.
Just the amount of drama and the amount of just rewarding payoff they can elicit from these kinds of movies is spectacular. And, it always is a matter of what you like and also what you're in the mood for. Because this is a point that I brought up last week as well, if you'll remember. It was an unnecessary dig at you, but I'll do it.
What was?
Are you?
I was reading something. Sorry.
Of course you were. This is a point. You motherfucker. This is a point I was bringing up on last week's podcast. If you remember, and if you're paying attention to me as I talk to you, it's all a matter of mood. It's what you want to watch. Oh, yeah. Sometimes I want to watch Into the Spider-Verse. Sometimes I want to watch Doctor Strange. Sometimes I want to watch Without a Paddle, the fantastic buddy comedy starring Dax Shepard, Matthew Lillard, and Seth Green.
Never saw it.
Oh, such a good movie. It's a trashy movie, but it's such a good movie. Burt Reynolds and Ethan Suplee are also in it, and both of them. Burt Reynolds is fantastic. He's great in it. But anyway, sometimes I do want to sit down and invest like the 2.5 hours it is to watch The Godfather. And then I'll probably watch The Godfather Part 2. I've watched Gangs of New York so many times. Sometimes it's just what you're in the mood for. And ultimately Scorsese wasn't saying it's one way or the highway. It's just he doesn't watch them because he doesn't find the enjoyment in them at the level that he's at. In the same way that, maybe a chess grandmaster won't go to a college chess club and play them just to beat the shit out of them. And not to say that I'm getting lost in my own analogy.
No, it's fine.
So ultimately, Scorsese wasn't trashing on anything.
No,
that was carried by a lot of clickbaity shit.
And also, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, go for it.
James Gunn kind of clarified in tweets further on explaining it. I'll read you the short one, and it says, that said, I will love Scorsese, be grateful for his contribution to cinema. Can't wait to see The Irishman. That was one of his short
absolutely.
tweets after
and you know what? That's the fucking thing with kind of like these social media dunk sessions where it's like James Gunn says that one thing and everyone's like, oh, he's talking shit about Scorsese. He fucking hates Scorsese. He wants to punch Scorsese in the face. Oh shit, let's make this happen. And then he has to come out and be like, no, I was just trying to make a point here.
Yeah.
Why are you all that? The knee jerk becomes the standard reaction on social media, and I fucking hate it.
But let's kind of wrap up.
All right, yeah, let's wrap it up. We kind of went a little long on that, but I think it was a good discussion.
Oh, no, it was. Absolutely.
What'd you all think about Scorsese's comments? Do you have any specific moments of your own from superhero movies that kind of evoke the human experience that he was kind of talking about? Anything else that we talked about today that you want to comment on? Anything we didn't talk about that you want us to talk about? There were a couple of other interesting news stories that came out. The head of Sony Entertainment International, I think, he left the company.
Really?
Yeah. It was kind of unceremonious. They just kind of put out a tweet. Essentially, they did the business.
Call it Julian firing?
Well, no, I was going to say they did like the WWE Best Endeavors kind of shit. They kind of best endeavored it. It's like,
okay.
It's with great emotion that we announced this guy leaving. It's with great emotion. That's the actual phrasing they used.
What?
Not sadness, not respect. Nope, just emotion.
What?
But, and there were some other news stories, but,
Those were covered in our weekly wrap up by Mike Henry.
yeah, exactly. Let us know what you thought. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Check out our D&D podcast. Both parts are up. Check out our or not our D&D stuff, but just our podcast. Our back catalog is slowly getting posted onto YouTube thanks to some amazing help from Rich, who's found a great way to make it all look good other than staring at an image for like 50 minutes. Like he's got cool little equalizer effects around it. It looks really cool. So if nothing else, just check it out for the visual effects.
Do it.
But yeah, I think that's where we're going to wrap it up. Josh, thank you as always for joining me on the discussions.
You're welcome, sir.
Otherwise, I'd be talking to myself and it'd be sad.
But I talk to myself every day, so it's kind of...
Well, I mean, there's one thing. It's one thing like, going through a list of things you need to do to yourself or with yourself. Or just... Fuck, I'm lost in my analogy. Just
I think we're done.
Just play the music.
I think we're done.